Hi Year 9, welcome to your introduction video. So we're back to looking at graphs and plotting, but this time we're not going to be plotting straight lines, okay? We're going to be plotting what are known as quadratic graphs, okay? And in order to do this, we need to be able to use bid mass effectively. So EAD, we're not having any days off of bid mass, okay? We're going to use it really well and really effectively. Okay, and we're going to be able to use it to plot a quadratic equation effectively and understand its shape. Okay, so we're not looking at straight lines now. And then we're going to be able to use the graph plots to solve some complicated equations. So remember that I've said many times that the ability to solve equations is one of the most important skills in maths. So we're going to learn a technique to be able to solve some very difficult equations using graphs. Okay, so hopefully that will become clear as we go. Now, we've got to be able to use bid mass effectively. Okay, so this thing here, this is called a quadratic equation. A quadratic equation. It's different to what we looked at before, where we had like y equals 3x plus 2. These were called linear equations. And the reason why they're called linear is because it makes a straight line. When you plot it on a graph, it makes a straight line. Okay, and the difference is we've got something squared, x squared. That changes the type of equation that it is. It's now a quadratic equation. Anything with a square in it is a quadratic equation. Okay, it's not going to make a straight line. But before we even look at that, we need to be able to use bid mass effectively. So look at this question. What is the value of y when x equals 0? So what we got is y is equal to, first things first, is replace x with 0 and put it in a bracket, okay? That will be really important for not making mistakes. If you're lazy, you don't do what I've said, I guarantee you'll get things wrong. If you listen, you follow instructions, and practice it this way, I'm sure you'll get it right, okay? Now, so what we need to do now to find out what y is equal to is we need to use bid mass. Well, bid mass says the following. It says do brackets first. Now what that means when we say do brackets first is do the things that are inside a bracket first. So although I've got brackets in this equation, there's nothing to do inside of them. It's just 0. So there aren't actually anything to do with brackets. Next is indices. Indices are powers or exponents, okay? So 0 squared is the first thing we're going to need to do. Well, 0 squared is nothing. Okay? 0 squared is nothing. That was the first thing we do. Next thing we do is division. Well, is there any division in this question? No, there is not. Multiplication. There is multiplication. There is 2 times 0. Well, 2 times 0 is 0. So it becomes 0 minus 3. Then addition. Well, there is no addition, but there is subtraction. So we're going to get 0 minus 3 is negative 3. So when x equals 0, y is minus 3. We need to use bid mass effectively in order to work things like that out. So this is different. We've got the same quadratic equation. What is the value of y when x equals 1? So y equals, replace x with a 1. And use a bracket so you don't make any mistakes. If you try to do it any other way, you're sure to get it wrong. Please listen to me, okay? Right, so we've got, first of all, indices. There's nothing in the bracket, so there's nothing to do. So now we do the indices. So 1 squared is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Then the multiplication. In fact, let's just write it out properly. So we're showing the steps of what we're doing. Now the multiplication, so it's 2 times 1 is 2, and we're taking it away. Minus 3, so we get 1 minus 2 minus 3 is minus 5. So there is the right answer. Okay, what is the value of y when x equals negative 1? So substitute -1 into the expression. Use a bracket, please, because you'll get it wrong if you don't. Okay. Right, again, the first thing we're going to need to do is the indices. So that's -1 squared, which means -1 times -1, which is +1. Then we've got 2 times -1 is -2. So we're doing minus -2 becomes a +2. And then -3. So that is equal to 0. So when x is -1, y is 0. So the answer is D. Okay? We have to be able to use BIDMAS effectively or we will get it wrong. Okay? Right, now I'm going to stop the video there. Part 2 on its way.